bunch of football on the high school level, and that's certainly good news. We're looking forward to it. We're happy it's happening. One of those games that's taking place Friday night is in Slidell. Pope John Paul II hosting Thomas Jefferson. Joining us now, the longtime high school football coach, and now, of course, the coach at Pope John Paul II, where he's doing a fine job. It's great to welcome Coach Charlie Cryer to the broadcast. Charlie, listen, thanks for the time. Welcome to the show.
All right, Ken, I appreciate y'all having me on.
Well, first and foremost, I want to get a word from you because I know, that you have had strong feelings and you've had prayers for everyone in Southwest Louisiana because you were there. You came from there. We all know about your previous work. You're at Vermilion Catholic, of course, at St. Louis Catholic before heading to Pope John Paul II. So I'm sure you've been in touch with people, and I know that has to have been
difficult. My daughter's been with me for about 3.5 weeks. So
yep.
She lives in Lake Charles.
Yeah. And just talk about what that's been like, just talking to her and about what you found out about what's happened in that town.
Well, we the Saturday after Laura hit, we went over there to check her house out. And, she was blessed. She lost a few shingles and her air conditioning blew over, and there was a trampoline in her swimming pool. So she came out really lucky. The city was tore up pretty bad, and her being a basketball coach at McNeese, they just relocated to LSU. Her and her girls, and they're practicing and doing some things. Living in the dorm, she's back in the dorm now. So, but it was a bad situation, and I seen where Barb was canceling their season, and I know Coach Mike Katrina real well, and that's such a storied program to have to shut down because of the thing and hurricane, and so is Washington Marion. I seen where they were shutting down.
Yep,
for
that's
year.
The case. And Sam Houston is now doing so as well. They were going to play.
They really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's just difficult. And yet the others that march on, including St. Louis Catholic, you feel good for and you wish the best for, because that's we've been through that here in the New Orleans area.
Yes.
We've been there, done that, and had a lot of these programs that found a way to come back and try to play some games, and others that could not. So our thoughts.
Yeah, we went through Rita. I was in Lake Charles there when Rita hit, when Katrina hit, and we did make it. We made half the year that year, but it was tough.
Well, Charlie, obviously the 18-19 year, your first year at Pope John Paul II. Talk about what progress you've been able to make to this point. I mean, it's a program that frankly needed to be rebuilt. Where are you right now in that process?
Well, I think the first year I was here, we did a good job. I mean, we won 2 games, and we were turning the corner. And then last year, with all the stuff that went down last year, I don't want to say they regress. I think they were stagnant right there. But they did work every day, and this year I think we're so much further ahead than I thought we'd be, and I feel real good. Of course, the seniors now are sophomores when I got here, and a lot of them are playing, and so I think we have an opportunity, and we had a real good scrimmage last week at Independence, and I think the kids competed well, and we held our own against Independence. So I think it's an opportunity for them, but it's like I told them the other day. I can't go out there and do it. You have to go out there and do it. You have to go out and overcome the obstacles that y'all have laid in the past and start a new tradition. And I think they understand that.
And you've got a schedule, by and large, that you should be able to compete with, when not disrespecting the opponents at all, but it is a schedule that, your team should be able to be competitive with, correct?
It is. I think so. We have Episcopal next week, and of course St. Thomas Aquinas and North Lake Christian are pretty solid football teams, and so is Springfield in our district. Those 3 teams. So, I think we can go out and compete. We're going to have to, but I feel good with where we're at right now.
And in fact, you brought up the district. I was going to ask about that next. What about it? I mean, we've seen in recent years St. Thomas Aquinas has had a couple of real good years. North Lake Christian,
Yeah.
Previously it had a couple of good years. Springfield up and down. Just talk a little bit about the league and what you expect from it.
Well, when I first got here, it was a now 18 district with Amite and St. Helena Central. And when they redistrict, we split it up. You never know what's going to happen next year when they redistrict. But I think it's a good district for us. I think we can compete in that district, and we didn't do a very good job last year. And I with me going through what I went through last year, it was tough on the kid, and it was tough on my son who kind of took over for me right there. But I thought they came to play every day, and they just they didn't handle it real well at times, and it showed on the field. But I think they've overcome that, and I like our chances. Every week we go out and play right now, and I always look at the glass half full. That's I've learned that in this business over the years.
Jolly, what kind of numbers do you have right now?
We have 43. We got 43 out, and I've got 13 seniors, and it's a group I started with, and then I've got about I think 10 or 12 juniors. So we've got a little experience, and that's the first time we've had that since I've been here, and I feel I feel real good about that. I have a mature football team, and with the stuff that happened to them in the spring, with the shutdowns and losing baseball and losing powerlifting and track, and I think they've realized, this means a little bit more to me than it did before. I mean, I really miss it. And I tell people, I give them credit. We've been practicing since summer workout started June 8th. We started practicing August 10th, and here we are October 1st. And, those kids didn't know they were going to play at all, but they came to work every day and grinded and gave me their best effort. And I think that was a sign of maturity. And, I feel really good about this group.
Visiting with Charlie Cryer of the Pope John Paul II Jaguars. And Charlie, let's talk a little bit about your team and talk about the players you have back from a year ago. I mean, what kind of numbers are we talking about with starters on each side of the ball?
Well, I've got 8 on offense and 6 on defense coming back. So that's a 14 out of 22. That feels real good. I'm good about that. My quarterback is a junior, and he started halfway through his freshman year, and he's been starting ever since. George Arata, and then I have a tailback that started for me every game since I've been here, Joey Stofanoff. And those two kids are Joey's a senior, George is a junior, and I feel real good with those two on the offensive side. Defensively, I've got Brady Pashota, who started since he was a sophomore. He's strong safety. And Joey's playing linebacker also. And I've got a corner, Colin Brendel, who started for me since I've been here. I've got some kids that have played for me for a while. And to have 14 starters back, and I think all, except for one that's just going to be a 10th grader, they're all juniors and seniors. So they've been through the ropes. They're not going to see anything out there on Fridays that they hadn't seen, the past 2 seasons.
Charlie, any perceivable difference from, the football that you coached in Southwest Louisiana to the football you're coaching in Southeast Louisiana? Is there any difference in styles? Any difference in the way the game's played?
I think it's high school football all the way around, but it was. The state of Louisiana does such a good job with their high school football, and it's just it's a lot different being closer to the city, New Orleans, and in Lake Charles we had the districts were pretty set in that area. Everybody was real close, and that District 3A I was in over there was. It had been a district for years and years, and it'll probably still be a district outside of Washington, Marion. Sometimes moving up to 4A. It's always been St. Louis and Iowa and Jennings, and so I think it's a lot different being in the city and are close to New Orleans like we are. You know, it's easier to schedule. I promise you that.
Yep. I think one of the neat things about this year, and that's knock on wood, that things change, that we'll have all the championships under one roof again.
Yeah. And you know, when I won the state, it was still together, and that meant the world to me. Especially going, I'm not much on split, and but you know, it is what it is, so we have to live with it. But at least I'm glad we're all playing in the dome again. And I voted to play at separate locations, and but I am glad that we're going to be back together this year.
Yeah, and that would be the final point of reference that I wanted to make before we let you get away is, do you think there's any realistic chance of ever getting this organization back together and ending this split, which I respect all opinions, but I can't stand it, and I never have. I just think we send a bad message to young people. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ken. It's not a good situation for the organization, period. But you know, I believe there. I think that it's not good for us as an organization to be split. But if we're all going to be split, we need to go ahead and split and start our own competitive organization. I think that, but I hope that never happens. I do that, but I also hope really we get back together because it brings it just makes the state a better competitive group of teams, and it disappoints me to see all this happen, especially at the years I've got in it, and to be like that. I'm like you. But do I think it'll come back together? I don't think anytime soon. No.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and I unfortunately agree with the last point you made as well. But
yeah.
There's always hope, right? So we're going to hold out.
Always hope. There's no doubt. I mean, who thought we would have to shut down and go through the year we went through this year? So
well,
maybe this pandemic will be a good thing for us. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess the oldest axiom in life is that if you live long enough, you see everything, and I kind of think
there's no
what
doubt.
2020 has been, right?
That is right. You are absolutely right on that.
Well, blessings to your daughter and the people in the Lake Charles area and what they've endured, and to you and your family as well. Nothing but success to the Pope John Paul II Jaguars, who opened Friday night against the Thomas Jefferson Jaguars at Slidell. And, Coach, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for the time
Thank y'all
tonight.
for everything you do. Y'all do a wonderful job.
Well, it's our pleasure, and we appreciate you, Coach. Thank you.
All right. Thank y'all.
All right, Coach Charlie Cryer of the Pope John Paul II Jaguars.